Hey there, this is Ina and welcome to Cashew Academy. Today I'll show you how to animate this scene. We will be animating the character using shapes. As always, you can find the project files in the description and they are free. But I would appreciate if you leave a comment and subscribe if you think my content is valuable. So now let's get started. Hey everyone, I have my After Effects opened and it's time to start animating. Before we do that, I wanted to show you the reference that I created. So basically before I start animating anything, I always block my character and then I create a very basic animation that would outline how I would like my actual character to animate. That gives me the flexibility to see what's working and maybe make some adjustments if it doesn't work later on. But the blocking is just for me to have a reference when I'm animating, and it's way easier to work with simple shapes rather than just testing on your main character. So first, let's see our reference. We will need to make a few adjustments for this pose over here, but let's start now and we'll adjust later on. So here is my character. I need to start rigging and organizing the file now. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to parent the layers. So I have a bunch of layers for the head and for the body and then for the arms and legs. So all the layers are blue are the head layers. All the layers that are yellow are the body layers. And now I just need to organize this better. Let's start with the head and parent the layers accordingly. So the hood element will be parented to the main hood. And then we have the light that will be parented to the hood again. That's the mask. And that's the black shadow. Again, to the main hood. Okay, so this is the layer that's above the head. So I'm still going to be parenting this with the main hood. Okay, so this is the black shadow of the head. So that will be parented to the head. And our head is ready. So now I want to hide a bunch of these layers. I'm just going to leave the main hood and the head layer. I don't need these layers for now. I'll be adjusting them later on when I have my basic animation ready. Okay, so now let's parent the body. The pocket needs to be parented to the main body. Okay, that should be parented to the belt and the belt to the main body. Then that should be the mask. Okay, so the mask again to the main body. Let me click Y on my keyboard to bring up the anchor point and move it about here. And let me rotate that to see if everything is working properly. Okay, great. Disregard the arms for now. We'll be rigging them and then parenting them later on. Okay, so this looks great. So again, I'm going to hide all of these layers. And I need to parent the main head layer to the main body layer. So now if I move the body, the head will move with it. And now let's rig the arms and then we'll start animating. In this tutorial, I'm going to be using Limber. I think it'll be easier to animate with Limber rather than Duik this time. If you don't have Limber, you can go to the website and then give it a try and then buy it if you want to. But it's a pretty cool tool that you can use to create limbs for your characters and then animating them right away. First, we'll be creating the left arm, so this arm. And it's important to mention here that when I say left arm, it's the left from the character's perspective. I'm going to click here, I need to click arm and then on type, make sure it's on taper. Otherwise, we'll be creating this kind of spaghetti type arms that we won't need now. So just create new and name that left. Okay, great. So now you can see that my limb is ready. I need to adjust the colors. I will also need to add the hand and move it around and change the scale. So Limber created 3 layers for me: the shoulder, the wrist, and the shape. So I'm going to click on the shoulder and I'm going to move it here. Let me zoom in my timeline so I can see what's going on. Okay, I'm going to move it here, and then the wrist will be here. So notice how this arm now is longer than my original arm. So I'm going to click on the wrist, and then in the effects panel, first I need to change the scale. 94, that's great. It'll be here. So now I just need to adjust the width. Start size scale, we can bring that up to about 120. The middle can be 100. 65. Let me see how that looks. Okay, great. I think it looks pretty good. And now the upper color should be red. Actually, should be dark red, like this. The middle color, dark red like this, and then that should be black. So let me remove my original arm. Actually, let me adjust the size a little bit again, because I'm not sure I'm liking the size. So start size, make it 150, middle size 130, then end size 100. Okay, I think it looks pretty good. Now let me adjust the shoulder a bit. So our left arm is ready. Now we need to add the other arm. And the way we do that is very simple. We're just going to copy and paste the exact same settings for the left arm and paste them to the right arm. So again, in the limber, click arm and then click new. Call that right. And boom, I have my limb ready. So now I'm going to go to the left arm wrist and then click in the limbs panel, click copy, and then click on the right wrist and then paste. And now boom, we have the exact same limb that we have here. So I'm just going to select the right wrist and the right shoulder, and I'm going to place them exactly where my left limb is. And then boom, move them here. So now let's parent the layers, and then we're going to move the right arm to the back. Click on the left shoulder, and the left shoulder should be parented to the body. So that way when the body moves, yep, as you can see, the arm moves with it. Same with the right shoulder, parented to the body. And boom, I think we're ready here. Okay, awesome. Everything is working properly. So now let me move the right arm to the back and delete my original arm that I created. It's very rough. And now we need to do the same thing with the legs, and here will be a bit different because we'll have the foot as well. Before I do that, let me hide some of these layers, like the shoulder. I don't need it for now. The shape, same here, I don't need it. I'll need to see this controller because I'll be moving this. The wrist, I'm going to need it because I'll be moving it. The shoulder, I don't need it. And then the shape, I don't need it. So now let's create the legs. So in your limber panel, click here, click legs, and again, make sure the type is taper. So we'll be creating the left leg, so left. Okay, our limb is ready, and now let's start adjusting it. I'm going to isolate all of the 3 layers that limber created, and the left leg. Click on the hip controller, move it around here, then the ankle should be about here. So again, we will need to adjust the size and the colors, and we will be parenting the foot and this shape of the leg later on. So click on scale, make this 100. So now as you can see, we needed to rotate the other way. So go to dynamics and then change this to -100. Okay, perfect. Colors, upper color, red, middle color, red again, and that should be black. And then here in the lower rounding, change this to 35. Actually, let me just very quickly change the color of the leg that's behind so I can see what's going on. Now it's time to adjust the scale. Start scale, make that 120. Middle 100, I would make that 60. Okay, so looking at this now, I think we need to scale it down a bit. Again, I'm going to change the scale to 80. So now I think it looks good. All I have to do is to parent these shapes and the foot. And I'm going to open up the left leg, and I'm going to select these two shapes over here. I'm going to copy them, paste them here, move them around here, and then I need to scale them down to 50%. So this one should be here, and then this one over here. Looks good. So now let's find our foot. Okay, copy, paste it here. I'm gonna move this here. I'm gonna rename that foot. I'm going to bring this below the layer and parent it with the ankle. These two shapes, again, parent them to the ankle. So looking at my character now, I think I need to adjust the limb again. Let me click on the left ankle and then adjust the start size to 180, and then the middle 150, and then the end to 80. Okay, so now I'll just need to adjust these two shapes. Perfect. Yes, I think it looks great. Okay, so now it's time to parent the foot and the two shapes with the limbs. However, I wanted to show you something very important here. So the foot needs to be parented to the ankle. However, look what happens when I parent it directly. Like the foot is not rotating properly. And I would like to have an auto rotation added for this animation. So the way you do that is by the dynamics field, you just change the rotate end to 100. So now let me move it back to where it was. Parent these two layers again to the ankle, and let me rename them. I'm going to hide these layers. The hip needs to be parented to the body, and then I don't need the shape. The foot is already parented, but I'm going to keep it here because I might need to adjust. So I'm just going to click on the foot, click Y on the keyboard, and then move the anchor point around here. And now we need to add the other leg. In your limber panel, leg, make sure it's saber and then new, and that'll be our right leg. Just click on the left ankle, copy, right ankle, paste. So I'm going to select these two layers and put them around here so I can make sure I have a let's see, select 3 layers, move them down so these should be below the left leg. Let me just check something. If I click on the right ankle, okay, see how it rotates like the other way? Into dynamics, clockwork, minus 100. I'm going to copy these like the leg element, foot, and Control D, duplicating them. Let's do the parenting. These two layers need to be parented to the ankle, the right ankle. The foot needs to be parented to the right ankle again. And make sure when you go to dynamics, the rotate end is set at 100. Let's click this icon over here so I only see the layers that I want to see, that are not hidden. So now we have everything rigged and it's time to start animating. And I'm going to be adding keyframes now. For the left wrist, left ankle, right ankle, and right wrist, I'm going to be selecting them and then clicking P on the keyboard to bring up position. And I'm directly going to be easing them. For the head, I will be placing keyframes for the rotation and the position. I'm going to click U on the keyboard so I can see the keyframes. The hood, maybe rotation, position, and later on we'll be animating the path, but that'll be later. The body, again, rotation and position and U so I can see all of them. The feet, just the rotation for now. So let me select all of them, click F9 on the keyboard so I can ease them. Let me open up my reference. Now what I'll do, just so I can make my life easier, is I'm going to be adding markers. So that's my position number 1. That's 2. It changes the animation around here. So let me add the marker here as well. Now if I go back and import the reference again, I will be seeing the markers. The first position, as you can see, it's not so static. We need to adjust the keyframes. So I'm going to start with the body. I'm going to change the rotation to 5. The front arm needs to would be so here, and the right wrist, we need to adjust the head as well. I need to change rotation to 5 at least. Let me rotate the body a bit more, like make it 8. And then the head can be 4. And then we need to move the ankles. The right ankle would be here, and the left ankle should be up, and the body needs to go up as well. There is a stretch applied to these layers, but then since I have layers that are connected to it, I will need to be moving the handles. Just play around with them, and you might notice, like I just did, that you need to move the hip down a bit. The right ankle needs to move a little bit to the right. Alrighty. Now, pose number 2 is different. The body needs to be rotated the other way around. So make that -6. The head layer will be 0. The left wrist would be here. And the right wrist, okay. I can rotate the body a bit more like this. The body needs to go down. The right foot doesn't need to be rotated. Make this 20. Good. And the left ankle is to be kicking. And let me add keyframes for everything that doesn't have keyframes right now. And I'm going to copy and paste each one of these keyframes. Okay, so I will need to make a few adjustments. The first thing is to move this ankle to be around here. The second is that I want my main body and the ankle, so I'm going to select all of them. I want it to feel like he's kind of jumping more. So actually, let me go back, and I'm going to select the wrist as well. So if you have joysticks and sliders, here's a cool thing that you can do. You can select all the layers and then click origin, and it will paste all the keyframes from the start. Now let's see how that looks. Okay, so our basic animation is now ready. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be adjusting the path a little bit so we can make the head animation and the body animation look cooler, because right now it looks too static. And the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to adjust the hood. Open up the main hood and then go here, path, and we'll be creating a keyframe for the path, for the position and scale. We probably won't be using them, but we'll see later on. That will be our first position of the hood. Then the other thing that I want to do is I want to open up the path for this layer. So this is the layer that's above the head. So again, let's create a path here. Okay, awesome. So when he goes up, we want to keep the same position as he has right now. But here, we would like his head to rotate a little bit. So it looks like his head rotates. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here in the middle, and then I'm going to open up this layer here. I'm going to adjust the path. So I will take all these 3 keyframes and I'm going to move them around here. For the main hood, we would like it to shrink. And now we'll just need to adjust this back as well. Yes, I love it. And now let me copy and paste these keyframes here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I want the elements of the head, these 2 layers and the circle, to move as well. And since we already have like the head is a mask, they're masked to the head, so that allows us to move these keyframes, and so they won't go out of the head except for the circle, but for now we won't need to adjust that. So let's go back here and let's change the position. So do you see this? Now looks like his head is rotating. Let's ease these keyframes and then copy and paste. Okay, I think it looks good, although I think we'll need to adjust this position over here. For this one, I would like the layer that is above the head to be adjusted more. Let's select all these things again. Let's move them about here. Okay, okay, that's good. So now we just need to adjust the hood again. Okay, great. I love it. I love it. Open up the shadow, the path again, and then here when he's looking that way. Okay, great. So the only thing that I want to adjust now would be the shadows. So see how this shadow and this shadow over here are just not where they are supposed to be. Here's a problem. There is a mask to this layer that is actually the hood, but that was before we animated the path of the hood. A very easy way to adjust this would be to just copy your new hood, main hood, Control D to duplicate it, and then main hood, new mask, and parent this with the hood. Click U on your keyboard and then remove the keyframes for the position. But as you can see, you have the same path keyframes that the main hood has. And so move this to, let's find our, okay, hood light, move it here, and remove this one. And as you can see now, it looks very good. We'll just need to adjust the pad. I'm just gonna duplicate this again and put dark shadow here, and this one should be removed. At the start of the composition, I don't want this light shadow to be so big because I don't think it looks good. So we'll just need to adjust the path. So boom, and then in the middle, it's okay to not have it in the middle, but then here I want it to be the last thing that I'm going to do before I copy and paste everything and then loop it would be to adjust the body a little bit. I want the body to rotate as well. I would like to move the belt. The belt and the belt line are masked with the body. So I am going to change the position. Okay, so everything is connected to the belt, so I'm going to move the belt like this and the line a bit as well, and copy and paste the keyframes. The pocket needs to move as well, and I will be adjusting the shape of the body as well. So I'm going to open up the path and then the eclipse that I created for the body. I'm going to move the skew axis. All right, and so now we'll need to change the masks again. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste everything since this whole animation will be looping. Okay, so as we can see from our marker here, the animation here changes, like the dance changes, and so we'll just need to adjust the wrist. Well, by the way, the rest of the animation stays the same, so we'll be just adjusting the left wrist. Right now, I want it to go like this, like here. So just for this keyframe, and then here it will needs to go up like this. Okay, and so here it will go up. So copy and paste this keyframe and zoom. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to offset some of the keyframes. It will mostly be the head layers. So all the elements that are connected to the head will be moved just a tiny bit. So great, our character is ready. Congratulations, your animation is ready. Although I always recommend to try these techniques for yourself, feel free to download my free template. The link is in the description below. Also, don't hesitate to let me know if there's anything you don't understand in the comments below, and I'll do my best to help you out. Thank you very much for your time and see you next time.